Okay, we are live. Okay, for those who are joining live on the YouTube feed for the second run of the session, we determined that we didn't have sound. We discontinued, and we're currently under Section 7, Personnel, Item 3, and I was asking for discussion, and we stopped to get the live feed going and the sound working. So is there any discussion on Item 3 to accept the resignation of Matthew Morse, JV basketball coach, effective the end of the 23 through 24 school year? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on accepting the resignation of Matthew Morse. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to accept the resignation of Matthew Morse, JV basketball coach, effective the end of the 2023 through 2024 school year. Okay. On to item 4 under personnel. That would be to approve hiring Trent Athman as the junior high football coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved by member Bowen, seconded by member Asseth, to approve hiring Trent Athman as the junior high football coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Any discussion?
Is
Any?
that just a single position, or is there actually more than one person that coaches?
There's a 7th and an 8th.
So
Okay,
we'll do approvals near the end of the meeting on the agenda of who's in each slot, but my recollection is there's one open junior high position yet.
Kingery went to volleyball, so then it'll.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other discussion?
In looking at all 4 of these, I think it speaks well to our district that we have students that have participated in these sports and are coming back as coaches.
Yeah,
I think that
spectacular.
says a lot.
That's a good point.
Any other discussion on approving the hiring of Trent Athman as the junior high football coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to a roll call vote. To vote on approving the hiring of Trent Athman as the junior high football coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Member Peppel.
Aye.
Member Asseth.
Aye.
Member Bowen.
Aye.
Member Benson.
Aye.
Member Klaus.
Aye.
Member Sheehan.
Aye.
And I, Member Frankham, and I as well. The motion carries to approve the hiring of Trent Athman as the junior high football coach for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Okay, on to Section 8, reports. We'll start off with our superintendent report.
All right, it's in your board packet. If you want to follow along, I put it up on the TV here too. Just a monthly update on what's been happening with our projects and what is going to be happening. We've got for this summer, our interior demolition work is about 95% complete. Outside, we've been pouring concrete. We now have a nice solid walk path from the parking lot all the way down to the bleachers, and that's going to be great. Anybody that's gone in the fall to a football game has probably walked through some water going down there, and along with that, we've been doing the utility work underground over here. They put in a new storm sewer with I think 3 or 4 different drains, and then they're going to connect the tile to that. So that's going to get that all nice and dry. That's at about 90% completion. We've got in Bird Island, they've completely finished their painting in the gym. The stage flooring is 100% complete, and they're about 90% done with the lighting. They've got to install a lighting control panel backstage. And they're going to complete the rest of the work in October over there after the musical. We moved the musical up, if you remember, to the beginning of October. I'm not going to say a date because I can't quite think of it off the top. It's right around the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 4th, something like that. But right when that's done, they're going to go in. They'll finish with putting in bleachers and curtains and all that. So Then we've got also, I mentioned the utility lines, yeah. Some pretty pictures. If you get a chance, walk around and take a look outside. The track, it's actually on my report that they sent me last week. It says the track's gonna be finished. Well, they've finished the second surface now of the track. That looks great out there. There's going to be some ongoing site work along with that. The playground, I just heard that the equipment is going to get shipped on August 19th for the playground, which is great. Unfortunately, that is the very first day of school also, so we won't be able to use that on day one of school this year, which I was hoping for, but it'll be close. It'll take probably about a month of work, and then it'll be ready to go.
Quick question, what did they do with the old playground?
It was demolition, then
Really?
they just took it away, yeah.
So they couldn't reuse it anyhow?
No, so we had a lot of people contacting us, can we give it to them or sell it to them? And the problem is that they're cemented into the ground so deep, the folks came and they just cut everything off at ground level, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that just didn't work, really, yeah.
I think a lot of people in the community are surprised with the amount of site work that was done out here to get the drainage in place that was needed.
Oh, if you didn't see it, it was a
Contacting.
deep hole. It was big. I had no idea that the storm sewers went down that low.
Sanitary sewer.
Yeah,
It's not, it's a sanitary sewer.
is that the sanitary sewer?
That's
Okay,
that deep, yeah.
it's, yeah. It was impressive. We still have some big equipment out there. And they won't let me drive it, so. Let's see, we've got upcoming electrical work being finished up, working on plumbing and sprinkler work. We've got water softeners that we're getting installed, going to be installed. I'll mention that Perry Yankee won the bid for the water softeners, so another local bidder there. Let's see, we've got new water heaters. Those are here. They're trying to figure out the best way to get them down into the boiler room. They've got some tight corners they're going to have to get through, but they're pretty confident they'll be able to get those tanks down there without having to do too much extra work. We've got, I mentioned the paving of the track is done. The paving of the track is done. They don't have the rubberized track running surface on it yet. That'll be coming in the future. They have to let this off gas for quite a bit of time before they can apply that new surface onto the blacktop there. And then we've got some electrical switch gear that's coming hopefully in October. And that'll determine when we're able to do the switch over from the old to the new system.
Is that still anticipated before classes start on the 19th to have that done?
Yeah, well, no, that's October.
Oh,
The
that's
switch
in
gear, yep.
October.
But so that's going to be kind of between the art room and the band room. They've created a new room back there. And they basically had to install a wall in the art room. And that's where all of that's going to be located. It's kind of nice because it had been just on the wall in the art room, like there are kids sitting with the box right here with switches that I can't believe that nobody ever switched one off, at least as long as I've been here. So, any other questions on the project?
Seems like everything's moving along real well.
It's moving along real well, and I think it's probably worth re-mentioning too that all of this stuff is happening right now to set the project up for the rest of the next few years. Moving electrical around, getting the sewer relocated, and all of that. So we might see the track out there and think, I know people have said like, oh, that's all they're going to do is the track. Well, no. But that's an easy place to start, and again, sets us up for the rest of the project.
And we're staying within budget.
So far,
Good.
so far. our website has gone live. I don't have too much to report on that at this point, but if you have gotten a chance, I know I've talked to a few of you who've downloaded the app. And the app is real basic. It's to keep in touch, basically. But I've been getting good compliments on how the website looks. Anybody has suggestions, just have them contact me, and it's super easy to use now. We on our old site, it took. I'm pretty computer literate. It took Deb from Nexus, who does websites. It took us about a half hour to figure out how to just change an icon on the old site, and now it's just super simple. So
In our advertising, can we reference not only the website, but the app download?
yeah, that's a good point. Yep. Yeah, I have a mention of it, but I'll put something else up there on that. Let's see, LCTN update. We're just, we've got, I mentioned last month, the lawsuit that's been filed. We've been meeting with the attorneys. We're not overly concerned that any of the districts are going to be have any liability on this, but it's certainly possible if anybody ever contacts you about it as our board member, just refer them to me. But we don't expect that. So far, only one school district has had any contact about it. Let's see, last we've got our insurance. We were able to get our insurance covered. We're still trying to get our workers' insurance for the construction worker insurance, but we've got still waiting to hear back on that. I was expecting to hear back last week, but we didn't get anything yet. So, all right, questions? All right.
Okay. With that, let's move on to item B in the reports. That's our pre-K through sixth grade principal report.
Hello, good evening. I'm happy to be here. Just a couple of things. So the format of the report, I basically took from the strategic plan, the goals and the pillars from the strategic plan and laid them out that way. So if it looks a little different, that's why. Under achievement and opportunity, we have letters training that will begin for our pre-K through sixth grade, all classroom teachers. Special ed teachers are included in that first phase for training, so they will join in as well as interventionists. So that's who's starting letters. I will be sending them a schedule coming up. I have just recently finalized all of that with the state. Monthly newsletters, we're going to do a district newsletter, and that will be around the first of the month. Just a way to keep the families and community members abreast to all that's going on here at Bold.
And how will you distribute that newsletter?
So I think the first one we talked about mailing.
And the first one will mail to everyone in the district, not
Yeah.
just the families, but
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
citizens.
And I think that we're open to however we can distribute it to all, right? Email on the website. We'll have print copies available for those that need that. In the area of recruitment and retention, there are currently 2 openings at the elementary. One is for the STEAM position and one is for Title I, for a Title I teacher. I did extend at the end of June, I believe. I extended an invitation to staff to come in and meet with me just to get to know them, start to build relationships. And I have had a good number. I wish I could give you the number. I should have probably had that prepared, but I don't. But it has been nice to visit with them and get to know the teachers and staff here. As far as staff development or professional learning, I did start working with a group of elementary teachers. We've been working through the READ Act and what those requirements are. We've also looked at some of the curricular resources and what those are, as well as what the needs are for the district. So I did just meet with them today. It was a wonderful meeting. And then I am also collaborating with Missy to develop our plan for back to school, for the back to school schedule. And then lastly, under safety and wellness, I have heard from some that there are some concerns at breakfast time for the 5th and 6th grade students. So I would like to have them eat their breakfast in the cafeteria rather than in the other area that I don't know what the name of it is, but that other hallway. Yeah. Commons area? Okay. So, any questions for me?
No.
All right. Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to item C under reports, our 7th through 12th principal report. That's enclosure 3 in the packet.
Okay, do you guys have any questions before I just run through? I'm not going to read it to you, obviously. Right now, we're working hard on the schedule, making last minute tweaks, getting kids' schedule, making some master schedule changes. So that is going on, making sure we can offer as much as we can with the staff that we have. Recruitment and retention, we really need a high school guidance counselor or an extra social worker. If you know of anybody, send them our way. It's a vital position and we need somebody good. Other than that, all other staff returned. So it's great to start out the year with a veteran staff where we all know each other and we can just pick up where we left off last year and move forward. So I'm super excited for that. Mental health services, we contracted with SWWC to bring in a 0.25 person mental health services for staff and for students if we need it. I'm excited about that. We did that not last year, but the year before, and it was really appreciated by staff. Just give them somebody else to talk to and to work through things if they need to. Our suicide prevention and mental health first aid training will have our second cohort start this fall with 10th graders. I am excited for that. And other than the few things Chris mentioned about our new newsletter, and we're just getting ready for the school year. It's going to come quick.
I was impressed when I read through the new courses that you were offering, that you've got
Yeah.
vocational, you've got the college, and you've got high interest things there. And I thought, now this is good.
Yeah.
It's
We're
so
moving
exciting.
forward.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's so exciting. We have a super talented staff, and I love when they come with new ideas. And it's not, I think one of the things I love about the high school staff is that even though there's veteran staff, they're still coming with brand new ideas. And that's amazing because I've been in schools where veteran teachers are just putting their time in. Ours are not. They are cruising through, and it's really cool. So I'm excited.
Quick question.
Mhm.
Were there any classes discontinued?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I shouldn't be a hard no, but none that I know of.
So
Nice.
nice to see we have options going and we're not going tit for tat, right?
No, we're not. And we did add what we're lacking right now is study hall. And we went to 3 sections with some of our 9th grade classes with the addition of the St. Mary's students. The class got really big, so we have some 3 sections. And we did add 3 sections of English 10 this year at the request of the English department, just to help with, just to make sure there's no fallout from having one of our core teachers out with illness last year. So just to make sure that those students are on track. So we do need study halls, but I'd rather have the classes than have the study halls. So that's what we're missing right now is study halls. We've got a few, but
Nice variety.
thank you.
Okay. We don't have an activities report this month. or a community education report. So on D and E, we do not, though, have a pool report. That's enclosure 4 in the packet. Any questions by anyone on the pool report? Okay, Tracy's contact information is on the report, and so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her. Okay, let's move on to G, facilities report. That's enclosure 4A in our packet. Any questions on the facilities report?
How is the cleanup going?
It's been an interesting summer. They'll get working here, and then suddenly we've got construction happening, and so then they have to go and do over here. But by and large, it's been going pretty well. About the only thing that really hurt us was we had a lot of pretty humid days for a while, and when you're trying to put sealant down on the floors, that takes forever to dry. But most of that's about halfway done, I guess.
Looks like cleanout was definitely needed when I saw some of the images that Rob was sharing on Facebook.
That's been really interesting. We have found some things, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of old books. We found one. Amy found an old music book that was on eBay. Somebody was selling it for like $145. So I don't know. Well, I don't know what we'll do with something like that. Maybe it's a fundraiser for the music department or something, or maybe they want to hold on to it. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of the band uniforms they found, just all kinds of things. So it's that was in need of a good move.
So you said we're about half done, and we'll be able to get everything completed before the school year starts.
It always has been.
Okay.
So that's our plan.
Okay.
Next summer is going to be a really difficult summer. So just we're going to be in full. Really, the next 2 summers are going to be tough. Just full construction happening all over the place, but we'll make it work.
Okay. Any other questions on the facilities report?
When's the next committee meeting? You have any idea? It was kind of, last one that was scheduled and then canceled and then scheduled, it was emails that I received.
Yeah, everything is really kind of ready to go at that point. We'll I'll talk to them. It'd probably be good to have an update. Yeah, we can do that. It's you, Sandy, and Greg.
Greg. Okay.
I don't need to have one just to have one. I just was curious
Right.
because it was scheduled and canceled and scheduled, so I was just curious if I missed
Yeah, what for that particular meeting, they just determined that
somewhere out of town.
people were out of town, out of country, and it really was not really needed because everything had kind of been finalized before that. So.
Any other questions or discussion on facilities? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to section 9, our new business. And the first item A is our third reading of policy 203.6 consent agendas. Is there it's enclosure 5, and we're going to be voting on this tonight. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Bowen to approve the policy 203.6 consent agendas as published in our board packet and online. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, then we will proceed to vote on approving policy 203.6 consent agendas. All members in favor say aye. Oppose? Motion carries to approve policy 203.6 consent agendas. Okay. Next item B, third reading of policy 206, which is public participation in school board meetings / complaints about persons at school board meetings and data privacy considerations. That's enclosure 6 in our packet, and this would be asking for a motion to approve and and then to vote on this policy tonight. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Oseth to approve policy 206, public participation in school board meetings / complaints about persons at school board meetings and data privacy considerations as printed in your board packet and online. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on policy 206, approving it. All members in favor say, or I'm sorry, that should be policy 306, not 206.
We've got administrative code of ethics.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
confused here.
confused.
Yes, I am too.
I am too.
6.
That's the wrong policy in our packet. This is one we approved
I
at
was
the
gonna say,
last
we've
meeting.
done this one.
I think we approved this at the very last meeting. Let me look back quick. Yeah, we approved that at the last meeting. That was item A under new business. Okay. Amy, can you get us 206? It should be 206. That's correct.
Yep.
Because that I did verify that we did second reading last month when I had gone through the agenda.
Sometimes copy and paste gets away from us.
My recollection is that's a short policy.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 or maybe 3 pages at the most.
Thank you.
Last year, isn't it? We'll wait for everyone to get their copy because this one had a lot of substantial changes and I want to make sure everyone has time to look at it. you had adequate time to review? Okay.
Did we make changes in this one from last month?
No, there should be no changes from the first or second reading. Okay, has everyone had time to review? Okay. We'll go back now, and so there's a motion on the table to approve policy 206, made by member Bowen and seconded by member Oseth. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving policy 206, public participation in school board meetings / complaints about persons at school board meetings and data privacy considerations. All members in favor of approving this policy say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to approve policy 206. Okay, we're on to C, which is our second reading of policy 213. School board committees, that's enclosure 7 in the packet. Are there any questions on policy 213? Okay, this will be up for vote at the August 26th meeting. So hearing none, we'll move on then to item D, and that's our second reading of policy 406, public and private personal data. That's enclosure 8 in our board packet and online. This will be up for vote of approval at the August 26th meeting. So any questions on policy 406 by anyone for discussion? Any discussion? Okay. With that, then we will move on to E. That is our second reading of policy 524, internet technology and cell phone acceptable use and safety policy. That's enclosure 9 in our packet and online. Again, this one will be up for approval at the August meeting as a third reading. Any questions?
I just got a quick one under the cell phone use. Is this just for students then, not
Right.
the students?
No, this one I think is for,
Which? Oh, for acceptable use, I'm sorry, yeah, acceptable use is
for
all-
everybody,
for all
employees
employees, yeah.
and students.
Okay. Because in there it says school board directs the superintendent, school board to establish rules and procedures regarding student possession, use of cell phones, but,
And then that goes into the student handbook. That's what you'll vote on
okay.
and approve later.
What happens if we have a teacher that has excessive use? What do we do there
Excessive private use of
of their cell phones?
It would be referred to the administration, they would talk to them, set up a performance improvement plan with them.
Okay,
This is on 524-3, page 3. Is that actually the state in there? That bold block? I mean, it says no, just what it does.
On the final policy that would come out, that is just in there for us as a school board as a reference for approval.
Okay.
And so this is the discussion under A, B, and C. what do we want to include or not include. So that would come out and then that section gets solidified.
Okay,
So
Okay.
unless someone wants to strike something out or change, what will happen is on 524-3, Part A, B, and C, and then subsection 1 and 2 under B, that'll all stay intact unless we alter it.
And sometimes the notes stay in just to clarify what it is.
Yeah.
It's not actually part of the policy.
Are there any other questions? That's a good question. And if you go back on page 5, when you look at filters and other things, there's also some that need to stay depending on what federal funding the district is receiving. So. So at this point, all the language is going to stay in the contract or into the policy based on our status of our district.
Yeah, and this is what's recommended.
Yep. So this is one of the model policies, and this is where a school board has some leeway to change policy and make your district appropriately. So any other questions or discussion on 524? Okay, with that, then let's move on to item F. That's our second reading of policy 403, discipline, suspension, and dismissal of school district employees. That's enclosure 10 in the packet. And this would be up for voting and approval at the next meeting in August. Any questions or discussion on policy 403? Okay, no discussion. Okay, with that, we will then move on to our second reading of policy 606, which is textbooks and instructional materials. That's enclosure 11 in the packet. And this is the second reading, so this would also be up to vote and approve at the August 26th meeting next month, regular board meeting. So we'll have a lot of policies to potentially approve at the next meeting. Any questions on that one?
as far as on this one, when, let's see, I start on the board in January, so it would have been after the beginning of the year, but when, if and when there are new textbooks used or called for, I mean, when do we actually, it looks like the board actually does review that.
So that's another policy.
Okay.
And that's one of the ones that we will have a little bit later here. Under the school district system accountability, talks about curriculum.
Okay.
And that's policy 616, which is a first reading.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's move on then to, I gotta check off here. Okay, first reading of policy 505. This would be the distribution of non-school sponsored materials on school premises by student and employees. That's enclosure 12 in the packet. So this would be a new policy that I believe we do not have currently posted. So this would be a brand new one.
I think this was referred to in another policy.
Yes.
So that we put it on because of that.
Yep.
So the adapted revised section at the top, I mean, that's all,
That's all set as if it's going to move through without any questions. So we'd be the first reading here in July, second reading in August, and we'd be looking at September 23rd on our board meeting to approve it. So please look through that one closely and come to the next meeting with any discussions or questions on that. Okay. Let's move on to item J. That's our first and final reading of policy 414. Oh, hold on.
Aye.
Yes, I just have two of them switched here, sorry. We're on I, yes, okay, I'm sorry. First reading of policy 904, distribution of materials on school district property by non-school persons. So this is related with 505 and was referred to in another policy that we're working on approving. So this would be a new policy that I believe we currently do not have on our website or enacted, if my memory is correct. So again, this would be up for second reading next month and potential approval at the September 23rd meeting. So any questions on policy 904? Okay. We'll move on then to item J on our agenda. That would be the first and final reading of policy 414, mandated reporting of child neglect or physical or sexual abuse. That's enclosure 14 in the packet. Is there a motion?
So moved, Benson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Klaus to approve policy 414, mandated reporting of child neglect or physical or sexual abuse. So this policy is one that we do an annual review on, and there's very few changes to the policy, but it does reflect what is currently recommended by MSBA and on this policy. And because it's very few minor changes to it, then we have ability, based on the policy of policies, to approve this at this meeting with just the first reading and without going through 3 readings. So are there any questions or discussion on policy 414? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, with that, we will proceed to vote on approving policy 414, mandated reporting of child neglect or physical or sexual abuse. All members in favor say aye. Oppose? Motion carries to approve policy 414. All right. Next one is K. First reading of policy 417, chemical use and abuse. That's enclosure number 15 in the packet. And so this would be a policy we already have in place, but there's a lot of revisions to it, to what the old policy was.
On page 616-3, they talk about a district advisory committee. Who is on that committee at this time? Or is it something we have to develop yet?
You're on the
You're on the next
next one already.
I'm on,
Yeah, we're still
Oh,
on policy
sorry.
417.
I put too many pages together.
So this would be up for approval at our September meeting. Any questions on 417? Okay, let's move on then to policy 616. That's item L under our new business, which is first reading of policy 616, school district system accountability. That's enclosure 16. Okay, Mariella, you had a question.
Okay, on 616-3, it talks about a district advisory committee. Who is on that committee, or is it something we have to form yet?
I'm not sure off the top of my head who's on it. If I can find that.
So there's going to be some changes coming for for the second reading, I should say. So on page 2, we're going to be under B, the curriculum cycle is going to get inserted there, and it needs to be. And then on page 3, under part 5, it lists the months, but those months potentially need to be edited and changed to be appropriate to what's for our district, that works with the committee you referred to on when they meet, because this sets the timelines and what that committee does.
Yep.
And the expectations for them. So there's going to be quite a bit. And then under part D on page 2, there's a hard date each year that goes in under D, part 1.
And this year it is November. 4th.
Well,
Or we don't know yet.
that's an editable date that we have to
Yeah.
get figured out with administration when we do our second reading, so. And administration's only seen this for about a week. So to make it fair that they haven't had a lot of time to start to put this together or to review this. Okay.
I did like the section on 616-4F, number 1. When I read through that, I noticed how much that'll keep the public and the community informed of what we're doing as far as academic achievements within our district.
Jim, will you email out to the board then who's on that committee?
We can. Yeah, I got it written down.
Okay. Any other questions on policy 616? All right, with that, then we're going to move to item M on our agenda, and that would be the fiscal year 25 LTFM proposed budget approval. That's enclosure 17 in the packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Peppel and seconded by member Benson to approve the fiscal year 25 LTFM proposed budget. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? So I have one quick question. I noticed we don't have anything put under roof systems because we've got the capital project. How many years is the warranty on those?
12 years.
12 years out. So, yeah, so it's beyond what the LTFM
Yes.
cycle is right now. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions?
How were the initial numbers established? I guess that's kind of
We go off of what we've had in the years past and we just keep rolling things forward based on
is it like an average, rolling average that you're using, or just kind of based on last year?
more or less, yeah. You know, we can put whatever numbers we feel we need in there. And even going back to the roofs, if we decided, well, let's start setting stuff aside, money aside for 15 years from now, we could start doing that. This will end up changing quite a bit in 2 years after the project is done. And then we'll sit down and take a different look at it because we're not going to be spending nearly as much as we currently are on LTFM. But that's where it's important to be setting it aside for future use rather than using it all up.
Mhm. Yeah, with the bond, we should be essentially banking our LTFM funds where we can at this point.
Yep.
For future use.
And you have to commit those into a category. You can't be just a piggy bank accumulating wealth. But they're fine with it as long as there's a purpose.
And then this is an annual report that's required to be filed with the Minnesota Department of Education. Just so everyone's aware. Any other questions or discussion on the LTFM 25 budget? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Okay. Hearing no more discussion, we will now proceed to vote on approving the fiscal year 25 LTFM proposed budget. All members in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries to approve the fiscal year 25 LTFM proposed budget. Okay, next item on the agenda. That would be N, to approve a school donation fundraiser to help support the scanning of documents for the new digital trophy case. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Pepple and seconded by member Sheehan to approve a school donation fundraiser to help support the scanning of documents for the new digital trophy case. Is there any discussion?
So what does this kind of involve? Someone doing it? We're paying somebody to do it?
So
Or we're buying a scanner?
No, so what we're doing is it's all gonna be online. And one of the parts of this is taking old yearbooks and scanning them in. And it costs about $25 to $30 per yearbook. And when you look back, we've got, and we'll actually have like separate ones for Bird Island and Olivia before, and Lake Ilium before we became a district. So they'll go way back. We're hoping to be able to get all of them in, but it's going to take some funding to do that. So
You have to send them off to somebody and they
yes.
scan?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. I'm
that's
sorry.
what I'm
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
okay,
we
you send them
it
off.
and then they do a non-destructive scan
Oh, nice.
of those books. Yeah. And then I believe our plan is to turn it over to the cultural center, or the what do you call it? The what is it? Not the Humane Society.
Historical Society.
Historical Society. Thank you.
So the physical copies will get turned over to the Historical Society, but we'll have the electronic copy.
Yep, and they'll still be ours. We're gonna actually turn over, we talked about some of the things we're finding, uniforms, all collectibles. We'll end up, they've offered to curate all of that for us. So we'll end up,
Which historical society?
down in county.
Is
It's in Lorenville County Historical. So in
Lorenville County?
Morton.
So they won't be able to get it on our website. They'll have to go to the historical stuff.
Oh, no, but so they'll be able to see the yearbook on our website. So that gets
So you can
scanned in.
flip through it and see.
Yeah, you'll be able to
Okay.
flip through it, and God willing, one day you'll be able to search for a name, and
Yeah.
it might hopefully be able to pop up 1942, page 78, immediately it won't have that functionality, but down the road, we're not far from that. So, but the same thing with old trophies, awards. We're excited about this trophy case because it's much more than just that. We can have staff recognition on it, student recognition on it. We can be showing who's on the robotics team, who's on the math team, things like that typically don't get seen. So it'll be a nice thing for us.
What are they contemplating the cost of this? Do they have a number, like,
Off the top of my head, it's 6,000, 7,000, something like that.
And what's the specific fundraiser we're approving?
Right now, it's just to go out and solicit funds, like asking people, do you want to
Do a donation. Okay.
support a donation to
So it's just a
scan in a year of the yearbook?
The cash request.
Okay, perfect.
I got an old cheerleading outfit. If you want it, you can have it. With the little pat
I don't
leather
personally
shoes.
want it, but yeah, we did.
No.
Didn't you have a picture of that?
What, the cheerleading
No,
outfit?
somebody brought in a picture of something like that.
Oh, yeah, I still have my cheerleading outfit.
Yeah.
You can certainly have it. I don't
We'll,
think
we'll
I
take
need
pictures of it and put it up though. Yeah.
Okay, any other
Crazy.
discussion around the fundraiser?
Who will conduct that fundraiser?
That's
What-
Derek Flat, Activities Office is heading this up.
Okay, any other questions? I think we've got the who, what, when, where.
I think
all
so,
answered.
yeah. One other question that does come up, I guess, is like things like state champion trophies. We're gonna also stay here. Immediate things will stay in the building for, we'll figure out a timeline, but maybe for 7 to 10 years, we'll keep certain things on hand, but then we move things out.
Okay, any other discussion or questions on the school donation fundraiser to help support the scanning of documents for the new digital trophy case? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All right, let's now proceed to vote on approving a school donation fundraiser to help support the scanning of documents for the new digital trophy case. All board members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve the school donation fundraiser. Okay, we are now on to item O. That's to approve a 2-year employment contract for Amy Schmidt, business manager for years 2024 through 25 and 2025 through 26. That is enclosure 18 in the packet. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to table this for now, because there's some things on here that I have a few questions about.
Okay, is there
Amy works a lot,
a second?
and when I look, oh, sorry.
Is there okay, are you done?
I want to make a motion to table it just for now to have some discussion on it.
Okay, is there a second to the motion to table?
Don't we make a motion to talk about it?
The motion to table supersedes a motion to approve something, so you would go to that first. So is there a second? I'll second the motion. So it's been moved and seconded to table approving a 2-year employment contract for Amy Schmidt, business manager for years 2024 through 25 and 25 through 26. Is there any discussion?
Okay, reason, and it's nothing against Amy. I'm looking at this contract and I'm thinking, wow. I mean, Amy works a lot, and I know we've already paid her and Nancy like the seven days paid out. I look at this position, it's so much for just her. I think we need to look at maybe getting just a part-time person for HR stuff and let her focus on other things, because she's so overwhelmed. I mean, she says she's working days, nights. I mean, she takes her computer on vacations. That's not fair to her. It's really not. And when we've had to pay out 2 people for vacation they have not even been able to use, I feel like we're overworking them, and that's not fair to them. And it's not fair to the school, because it causes mistakes and issues that could cause us a lot of money by doing that to her. I appreciate everything you do, and you do work a lot. And I'm just looking at this as maybe before we do this, we need to look at hiring maybe like a person from the co-op, just for, a couple days a week, or just to help fill in this position, so she's not working all the time. I've been there, done that, and you get burned out, and you can say all you want. I won't get burned out. I want you get burned out. Your mind doesn't think normal. You just get overwhelmed. And it's just not fair to her to do this to her. And I feel like we need to really look into this and maybe look at getting somebody extra to help. So that's my thoughts.
I guess I have a question as far as the HR coordination. Has Amy been doing the HR coordination
Oh, yeah.
courses?
Yeah.
This year already?
Yeah, she arranges all interviews, makes sure that the employee issues are being taken care of. So,
So And the only reason I ask that is because on our copy we have, it's business manager slash
HR, yeah.
HR coordinator, which is in bold for those who can't see it. So it looks like it's been added onto it. So I just wanted to clarify that that's been duties she has been.
right.
Amy kind of wants to say something, I think. Is it okay if she talks about this?
I'm okay.
So I don't work nearly as much as I had, so we brought Nancy on to lighten my workload, and part of the reason that we did get all our time in this last year was because, one, we're cross-training, and so she's learning a lot of stuff. Two, we have a huge construction project going on. It's not because I've overworked, literally, like my workload, like she's taken on payroll, so other than looking over it, I don't do any payroll anymore. She does all the payroll. Like there's a lot of things that have been taken off my plate, so my workload has reduced quite a bit. Like I probably only touch my computer 1 or 2 nights a week, which to me is nothing. The thing is that if you ask myself or you ask any other business manager within a school district, their job is not an 8 to 5 job, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's almost no way to, in a small school district, to get away from that because you don't have a whole staff doing these things. So
Well, it sounds like we've already taken some of that pressure off her shoulders with moving Nancy here.
Amy and I talk quite a bit, and that's definitely something, a conversation we have often. Is I don't want her to get burned out, and that is something that I have worried about. And I think Amy was worried about that a year ago.
My workload has reduced a lot.
Yeah, the payroll piece was a huge part of that, and now that Nancy's gotten a year of doing this under her belt, that has taken a significant load off of what she's doing.
But by hiring that other person just for a couple days a week, that would probably lighten both their loads to do other things with all this construction, everything going on. We could lighten their loads even more during this process the next couple of years.
We can certainly look into doing that.
That could be.
I mean, you shouldn't have to work nights either.
Correct, but that could be a temporary role.
Right, a
It wouldn't
temporary,
have to
like
be
a co-op, like you
And
just call the
we-
co-op and have them come in.
And we do use the co-op for things. In fact, for the last 2 years, we've been using the co-op to help train Amy in on this, being the director of finance. So we frequently turn to them when we need help. We've got our school nurse comes to the co-op 1 day a week. So when we need them, we do reach out.
Well, with this, I would take the HR coordinator off because like he said, I mean, your business manager is that person. You don't need the business manager / whatever, HR. I mean, it's all one job, one title. And then if that's the case and she's not, then we could probably take the unused vacation up to 7 days. She should never have to worry about having 7 days ever again. So let's just get rid of that then, because if she's not working that much anymore, and then we'll just get rid of the unused vacation time, because that just causes us to pay more money out.
That was why I seconded the motion, because that was my question or flag on the contract. The rest of it I'm essentially good with, but this would be the only contract of an employee in the district that has that language in it. And
No.
yeah, it is. I reviewed
The-
the other contracts.
Amy-
Denny's contract has it as well.
Denny's.
Denny's does as well.
Denny's does? I read through, I didn't see that in there.
Does as well. It's paid up to 7 days.
Up to 7?
Mhm.
So somewhere along the line, we should be watching that too, because that just causes us to pay an extra amount out where we shouldn't have to, because when they take the time off, you're already paying them for the 80 hours or whatever it is, the 2-week period. You're already paying them that. But if you take this extra 7 days, you're actually paying cash over and above that.
Right, but we would just be paying it to somebody else to do that job. And when it comes to things, people like Denny and Amy, we could hire someone else to come in and temp work it for 7 days, but they just don't have the expertise and the background knowledge to adequately get that job done.
They're coming in cold and not knowing. where they're
Exactly.
going.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But if they're here all the time, you have them from the co-op, and they're here every week for 1 day, 2 days, they're on top of it. They kind of have that flow
Then
going.
you're gonna be paying more than $7,000-8,000.
It would cost us more that way.
Right, but you're leaving her workload. You're lightening the workload.
So they're just saying it's not a money thing because you're gonna, the 7 days out doesn't
Well,
matter.
that-
You're paying your money
Probably
out.
not, but I'm
You're
just
gonna
saying
pay
the
more.
workload itself. To lighten that and adding this in would be two things that I would like to see maybe change, because just adding that extra person in would probably help. Just 1 or 2 days a week.
I could just say in my position or what I do and what I enjoy to do, this is my thing as a chiropractor. I would say, ask me, and then I would tell you if I think I needed help or didn't need help. And if she says, yeah, I think we should give me some help, I think we should get her some help. But if she's not asking for it and she's comfortable with what she's doing, then we look and see how it goes, and we sit down and we discuss it with her. You do it annually and discuss where your job's at and if it's too much or not enough. And then you meet it when you meet it. Right now, she's lightening her load up some already, and she can feel some relief from that.
I
Being
would guess,
proactive on something that,
if we contacted the co-op to find someone to do 2 days a week, I would guess it would probably cost us $25,000.
Their minimum contract for business services out of the co-op for additional would be $3,000 a month. That's their minimum business service contract.
I think Brian has a good point. You know, it's kind of up to your employees when you talk to them to kind of, Amy's kind of expressed where she's at now and feels better about what she's doing, and that's kind of her boss, or whether it's Jim or the board, to sound that out. And if she's doesn't feel overwhelmed, or at some point if she does, that communication has to take place where we can step in and help her.
I'm hearing Jim say that you talk frequently
We-
and you're keeping
they-
tabs on her so she's healthy
They,
and with us.
Well,
And so I
sometimes, you
think
know, if
that's-
you bring in a new employee 2 days a week, how much time is that, additional time is that gonna take somebody to train that? I mean, I've had a number of employees over the years, and it takes time to break them in, and you don't know for 6 months if they're gonna fit or not.
another nice thing about having her doing HR is we never know when HR problems are going to arise. So people come in here and they want to talk to somebody now, and they don't want to wait. You know, if it's Wednesday, person's not in until next Tuesday, that might be too long for them. And we have things that come up daily where people are coming in and saying, hey, can we fix this? Can we fix that? And not necessarily huge things, but there are a lot of little things that she takes care of. Maybe not on a daily basis, but fairly frequently.
but we all appreciate all the stuff that you.
Okay, is there any more discussion on the motion to table the approval of the 2-year employment contract for Amy Schmidt?
I just got one more question. Sorry. On the 4 10-hour day work weeks from period June 15th to August, what day are you off there? Or are you just
We're on Friday.
off Fridays?
It's very slow in here on Fridays, so that's usually the day we take off. And I just wanted to add, Cindy, too, that like when I do work time at night, a lot of times I'm reading up on policies or things like that when it's just quiet that I wouldn't even be able to do here, even if I wanted to, just with things happening. And so I do a lot that I've been doing lately at that home is because I want to do it, not because I'm required.
I just don't want you to get burnt out.
I know, I appreciate, I do appreciate, and like as Jim said, too, we do communicate often. Like, if I need, and Nancy's great about picking stuff up and learning, and it's working out well. So it's evening out very quickly.
Sounds like it's a good working relationship, a trio.
We do, and we have a very good all-working relationship.
And if we took a quarter of her job away from her, I don't know if she'd be willing to work for, if we took a quarter of her salary away from her. So I would not want to lose it.
Okay, is there any more discussion on the motion to table? Okay, with that, we will vote on the motion to table item O, the 2-year employment contract for Amy Schmidt, business manager for years 2024 through 25 and 25 through 26. All in favor to table, say aye.
Okay.
Aye. Oppose?
Okay,
Nay.
Okay, the motion to table fails. Okay. Okay. Is there another motion on 2-year employment contract for Amy Schmidt, business manager?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, is that the motion to approve it?
Approve the
Yes.
contract as presented.
Okay, it's been moved by member Oseth and seconded by member Klaus
Yes.
to approve a 2-year employment contract for Amy Schmidt, business manager for years 2024 through 25 and 2025 through 26. Is there any discussion? Okay, I do have a couple of items. Under D, salary, I believe the years are incorrect on the contract. I believe that should be 2024 through 2025 and 2025 through 2026.
You are correct.
So that needs to be corrected. And I still have apprehension on building directly into a contract, paying unused vacation. I would rather address those things on one basis with as they come up each year
We could do it at
versus
the end of the
building
year.
building it into a contract. So I move to amend the motion by striking under section B, part 2, vacation, the phrase, any unused vacation, comma, up to 7 days can be paid out at the end of the FY. Is there a second to that?
So you're saying you can't do it, or are you saying it would be addressed on an individual basis?
I'm
Individual.
saying it's not going to be a part of the contract and we would address it on an individual basis annually. But
I'll second.
Who
Okay.
would that address to Jim or to the
it
board? or-
would come before the board and we would vote on, as we did, was it last month? I
Last
believe?
month.
Yes.
Last month where we
For
paid
Nancy.
Amy and Nancy. So it'd just be a separate agenda item each year, well, as needed basis. So so I made the motion to amend the contract by striking that sentence of any unused vacation up to 7 days can be paid out at the end of the fiscal year. Member Benson seconded that. Is there any further discussion on that amendment?
So there's still 7 days in the contract,
No,
No.
not at all.
Well,
No,
So
she
there
has
are
no-
20 days.
She has no,
not if you approve the amendment.
There's a possibility if you vote on it.
up to 7, but she still has vacation days in her contract.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep,
Yes.
she has 20
She has 20
vacation
days.
days.
Yeah.
in her contract.
Yep.
It's just not built in that if
The
we approve
extra.
this amendment and we approve the contract with the amendment.
Got it.
However, she wouldn't know until it came to a vote whether or not she should earn that time at the end of the year or not. Would be the thing too.
But-
if it's gonna be up to the board, if it doesn't get presented to us early enough, will she get shortchanged or lose? to where she.
I don't think she.
I don't think it's the intention of the board to
No.
try
No,
to
no, no, I
shortchange her.
agree. I wouldn't want to see that happen.
No,
Yeah, no, that's a fair thing that Amy and Jim administration would need to be cognizant of, and whoever the board chair is in the future, that it may or may not be me, I don't know, but that gets brought before the board on a timely basis. Yeah.
That'd be my concern.
and we want to make sure she gets that vacation, takes
Oh.
that vacation time.
I would much rather.
Because you have to
just
clear your
see her
mind at some point.
utilize
You
it.
got to take
Yes.
that. You can't
Yeah.
overload yourself.
Just knowing, being in a roles where you're the only person that really knows the answers, sometimes you can't not be here. I mean, you have to be. There are times we've all been in those types of conditions. So I sympathize with this one a little bit.
Yeah, can she speak on this?
I would love to hear her opinion on it.
Yeah,
I went on a vacation. I was gone for 10 days and went to Florida. At the same time, we had a whole bathroom that went under that I had to write a grant to the state. It wasn't, I couldn't control that. Jim couldn't control that. But the grant had to be done to get money to pay for that. So there are times when I am gone that there is no other choice, and no other person in our district can fill that role either. I realize that I've earned the vacation, but sometimes it's just not possible, because my job is to be here. And if we were in a big district, it'd be a whole different ballgame, but we're not. We're really a small district. I'm not anticipating being paid out tons of money for my vacation time in the future either, but stuff happens. Like that bathroom that we had to dig how many feet to the ground, and it cost us $40,000 to do. Like, I mean, that were the type of circumstances that you still have to work even if you're not here.
And I don't think the intention is to take anything away from you, but we want to just make sure you do take that time. And I think at the end of the year, everybody wants you to get paid or taken care of what you've done. So I don't see a need for it to be in here, because one way or another, in the end, we're going to make sure you're taken care of. If that makes sense.
I think this just gave us a little flexibility so that we didn't have to come and bring it to the board, but
Oh, I don't.
But, yeah, to have a item like that on the agenda, and then you can flex it where it might only be 3 days versus hard writing, well, it says up to 7,
it
but
says up to,
it says up to.
Yeah.
But at least then, we know what the request is, and the board knows, and then we could, as future contracts come up, we can start to see how this is or is not working, and we can adjust on future contracts. But anyhow, that's why I advocate to strike at this point. And it's not to pull it away, and I'm saying we will still address it, but on an individual basis, and not as part of the contract.
I kind of think too, if it goes in one contract, everybody looks and goes, well, they got it, why didn't I get it? And then it's unfair, and then it's discrimination. And I just don't know if something like that would be good to
doesn't matter.
put in here.
If you say that we're gonna address it every year, then they'll just do the same. Then you'll just get to address it every year,
Yeah.
on an individual basis.
And I think that's probably better than just putting it in every contract. Just individually figure it out at the end of the year.
Okay, any more discussion on the amendment? Any more discussion on the amendment? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on the amendment, which strikes the phrase, any unused vacation up to 7 days can be paid out at the end of the FY, and that's under Part B or 2 on the contract on page 1. So, all in favor of striking that out, say aye. Aye. All opposed to striking it out? Okay, I'm gonna say the motion carries on the amendment. Okay? So now we're back to voting on the contract as it's written except for any unused vacation up to 7 days that can be paid out at the end of the FY is struck out.
And then the
under
dates.
B2.
The dates.
Oh, and the
change.
dates have changed, yes, under salary, to say 2024, 25, and 2025-26 for year 2. So those are the 2 changes. Okay, is there any discussion on the motion and the contract as it stands now? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, with that, we'll proceed to vote on the contract with those 2 changes, and that would be for Amy Schmidt, Business Manager for years 2024, 25, and 2025, 26. All board members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to approve the contract with the 2 changes. Okay, let's go on now to P. That's to approve the JPA of the Olivia Swimming Pool, enclosure number 19 in our packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
No second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Klaus to approve the JPA of the Olivia Swimming Pool. Is there any discussion?
Same JPA that's been in effect for since 2017,
19, I think it says.
2019?
We're staking it down.
This has been signed by the city already.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say the one thing to note in section G, 3 eligibility, I assume that portion drops out now since resumption of pool operation costs being divided equally takes place currently now. So I believe that
Just dropped.
that essentially drops
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's still written in here, but I suppose next year we'll take it out.
Has the city already, they've approved it?
Did they?
Isn't it signed
Oh,
up?
she did sign it, yeah.
It is signed, but.
Can it go back to them? so
That's
that
what
can
I'm
get dropped
wondering,
out?
that we drop that out and it goes back to them for reapproval, that we don't approve that.
You can.
We might as well make it correct to go
Yeah.
forward.
Can we approve a version with that crossed out?
Yes, we can.
Amended?
We have to amend the motion to drop that.
How about we do that? That'll save a step.
Yep, and then send it back to the city for approval on the amendment.
Yes.
Okay, so
I would like to, go ahead, Greg.
Nope, go for it.
I'd like to amend this document under G3 to drop that section because it's now a shared responsibility.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
So member Klaus has moved and member Peppel has seconded the amendment to strike under section G, all of number 3 from the contract. Is there any discussion?
The last sentence in there does say that if a resumption of pool operation costs being divided equally takes place in the future, this shall become
Null and
null
void.
and void. So I'm not sure that we have.
And that's why I say it could be removed for next year's signing potentially. Because this is an annual document, correct?
It is. It's sort of, because we have been sharing those, I think it automatically is
Null and void.
nulled itself, yeah. There's no way we could go back to do that, but
Well, then I encourage that we strike or vote against the amendment and leave language in, and then it can all be approved tonight. guess
I think that would help them out.
Say
Yes.
that again, Todd.
I would encourage, I'm going to vote against the amendment then
Okay.
because of that last sentence there's no reason to drop it out of the contract. And then it's a final document. So, is there any more discussion on the amendment?
So at a meeting, we'll bring that up and then at a full board meeting, and then we'll
Yep.
make
for
sure that
next
it gets
year.
corrected for next year.
Any more discussion on the amendment? More discussion on the amendment? Okay, with that, let's proceed to vote on the amendment to drop out G3 out of the contract. All board members in favor say aye.
Okay.
All board members
Oh.
against?
Oh, sorry.
I thought we'd already got rid
Let's
of it.
start over. I want to do a roll call vote so we, I know for sure. Okay, all board members, Member Peppel, Are you-
Leaving it as is.
Is,
leaving it as is. Are you a nay then on the
No,
amendment?
I'm in favor of leaving it as is.
So then we're voting on the amendment, which is to
Which
remove
is
it.
To strike it.
So you want to say nay? if
Nay.
you- Okay, nay,
hey,
nay. Okay, the amendment fails on a roll call vote. Okay, let's now vote on, or is there any more discussion on the contract? Any discussion on the contract? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the contract as printed in the board packet in its entirety and published online. Is there any, with that, all members in favor to approve it, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, motion carries to approve the JPA of the Olivia swimming pool. Okay, as printed. All right, now we are on to Q. And that's to approve the student directory information notice as enclosure 20 in the packet. This is an annual thing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Oseth and seconded by member Benson to approve the student directory information notice. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All members in favor to approve the student directory information notice, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to approve the student directory information notice as published in the board packet. Okay, item R. That would be to approve the 2024 through 2025 PK through 6 elementary school handbook. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the 2024 through 2025 PK through 6 elementary school handbook. Is there any discussion? Okay,
We brought these a month early just because we got school starting a couple weeks early, and it's after our next meeting, so.
I thought it was very well written, easy read. Font is great. On page 17, I did highlight one thing that I'm hoping parents will get. It talks about the assessments, and I like the phrase where it says the opportunity to apply critical thinking needed for success in college and careers and show what they know and can do. So on a positive note for assessments.
I had two questions. On page 9, when it talks about POP, are energy drinks also included under that?
That was a question that I had, and I have not had an opportunity to visit with Margaret about that.
They are. Like, are you talking like a Monster or something?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah, where's the,
it's.
on page 9, under POP. I think it was on page 9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it
always
you're right.
not-
that's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, that is not allowed.
so I wonder if you just say and energy drinks as well to
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
very clear.
Yeah.
And then on page 11, under the electronic devices,
yes.
the one that's really come up in my mind now would be like a watch that is connected to the internet. How essentially you can receive texts and emails on them, and how is that handled under the student
Right.
handbook.
And so I would say that that would be included in any personal electronic devices. I did just say including earbuds, but I could say including earbuds and smartwatches,
Smart devices.
smart devices.
Including but not limited to.
I could say that as well.
Yeah, I would just be very explicit in
Yep,
in
okay,
that.
perfect.
Keep it broad.
Yep.
So you tell me what wording you want and I'll put it in there exactly how you want it.
I like how you just phrased that.
Okay,
Keeping it broad.
Smart devices.
Smart
Including but
devices.
not limited to
okay.
earbuds, smartwatches, yeah.
And other
Dot,
smart
dot,
devices.
dot.
Yeah, just smart devices in general.
Perfect.
Smart glasses, good stuff.
Could use that.
Those are spy glasses, Brad.
They'll come right up on your screen.
Apple's got a free,
Yeah, they do.
$3,000 one. It's pretty impressive.
Any-
Any?
Any discussion beyond that? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the 2024 through 25 PK to 6 elementary school handbook with the addition of Monster drink, or energy drinks. I'm sorry, I'm trying to use brand names here, but energy drinks in general, as well as the change under the electronic devices to including but not limited to earbuds and smart devices. Okay. With that, we'll proceed to vote on that handbook with those changes. All members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries to approve the 2024-25 PK through 6 elementary school handbook with the couple of changes we talked about. Okay. On to item S1. That's to approve the 2024 through 2025 7th through 12th school student handbook. This would be, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Bowen and seconded by member Peppel to approve the 2024 through 25 7th through 12th school student handbook. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? I have one little item on page 22 under participation and fees. We need to add under the school musical the family cap of $175. That's not in the policy.
What letter was that?
I
see.
It would go under, it would go under, it would become P essentially.
Oh, I see.
And then what is P becomes Q, and what at the bottom is T will become U. Because we have the family caps listed for everything else, the co-curricular and the athletic fees, but we don't have it. But yeah, we did approve that last month. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Okay, with that, we'll pursue, are you okay with that change, Missy?
Yeah, and there's a little date change that needs to be made on the very last page for 23 that I see. It just says 23, 24 instead of.
Oh, at the top.
Oh, yep. Yep, it does. Okay, so any other discussion on the 7th through 12th student handbook? Okay, hearing no more discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the 2024 through 25 7th through 12th school student handbook with the addition of the musical family cap and the date change on page 23 to say 2024, 2025. All members in favor of those changes on the policy, on the handbook, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? So the motion carries to approve the handbook with the changes for 7th through 12th grade. All right, we are on to S2, which is to set our event prices for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Student admission event prices will be $5 and adult admission will be $7. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Klaus and seconded by member Bowen to set the event prices for the 2025 school year for student admission, which is grades K through 12 at $5 and adult admission at $7. Is there any discussion? Any discussion?
What are the current rates? Are they the same?
I
or-
don't think it's, I have no idea.
If
For the
it
current rates?
They're the same.
is the same as last year. So, same as last year. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. With that, we will proceed to vote then on setting our event prices for the 2025 school year at $7 for adults and $5 for students in grades K through 12. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries to set the event prices at $5 for K through 12 and $7 for adults for the 2024-25 school year. All right. We are now on to item T, and that is to approve the 2024-2025 co-curricular staffing list. That's enclosure 23 in the packet. Is there a motion?
So move, Benson.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by member Benson and seconded by member Sheehan to approve the 2024 through 2025 co-curricular staffing list. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote on approving the 2024 through 2025 co-curricular staffing list, which is enclosure number 23. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries to approve the 2024-2025 co-curricular staffing list. All right, we are on to item U, and that is to approve the 2024 through 2025 fall athletic coaching staff. That's enclosure number 24 in our packet. Is there a motion?
So moved. Pepper.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved by member Peppel and seconded by member Klaus to approve the 2024 through 2025 fall athletic coaching staff. Is there any discussion on enclosure 24? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor to approve the 2024-25 fall athletic coaching staff, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to approve the 2024-2025 fall athletic coaching staff. Okay, last item V under new business, and that is to approve a resolution requiring the tally of write-in votes only if write-in votes are greater than a ballot candidate's total votes. That's enclosure 25. So I'll start reading the resolution and then I'll look for a member to make it and one to second it as I read. The resolution requiring the tally of write-in votes only if write-in votes are greater than a ballot candidate's total votes. Whereas Minnesota statutes 204B.09 subdivision 3 provides that a school board may adopt a resolution governing the counting of write-in votes for school board elections. The resolution may require that write-in votes for an individual candidate for the school board only be individually recorded if the total number of write-in votes for that office is equal to or greater than the fewest number of non-write-in votes for a ballot candidate. And whereas the write-in vote counting process can be overly time-consuming and require resources that does not result in a change of election results unless a single write-in candidate receives the most votes for election. Therefore, be it resolved that the school board of Rhode Island Olivia Lake Lillian ISD number 2534 requires that write-in votes for an individual candidate for the school board will only be individually recorded if the total number of write-in votes for that office is equal to or greater than the fewest number of non-write-in votes for a ballot candidate. If not enough people filed for open positions and one of the open positions needs to be filled by a write-in candidate, then all write-in votes will be counted. This resolution shall remain in effect shall remain effective for all future elections until and unless the school board rescinds this resolution. This motion for adoption for the resolution was made by member Klaus and duly seconded by member Frank. The vote on adoption of this resolution was as follows. Member Peppel,
I,
member Ossep,
Aye.
member Bowen, member Benson,
Aye.
member Klaus,
Aye.
member Sheehan,
Aye.
and member Frank is an aye as well. No one is absent, whereupon the resolution was declared duly adopted by Independent School District number 2534, Minnesota, this 22nd day of July, 2024. Okay, upcoming dates. August 26th, 2024, a regular meeting in the district office at 7 p.m. At the end of the meeting, we will move into a closed session to do a year-end goal and performance review for Superintendent Menton. So a lot of time for that, and I'll be distributing out evaluation forms to everyone here this week here, this upcoming week. And then the other announcement on dates is that the deadline for school board seat filing closes at 5:00 p.m. on August 13th, 2024. Any other dates that anyone's aware of? Okay. With that, the meeting is adjourned at what time is it out here? 8:51 p.m.
Beauty. Do you want a motion?
I can just adjourn. I don't need to have a motion.
No.